I'm Jonathan Dormish from Entertainment Weekly, and I am here with Alan Tudyk for Con Man. Thank you so much for joining me, Alan.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. So, for those who might not have seen Con Man yet, why don't you give me a little rundown of the show?
Okay, Con Man is about a guy that I play. His name is Ray Nearly, and he was on a space show, sci-fi show, 10 years prior, and it was canceled too soon. And afterwards, he goes to sci-fi conventions, as many people do, but then his career, he makes some bad choices and it never goes anywhere. So he's stuck on the sci-fi con circuit. And even though he's a huge star there, he sort of resents his life. He can't appreciate how good he has it. So it focuses on my character, Ray, going to a bunch of conventions and struggling as an actor.
And the first few episodes are up on Vimeo right now, and they're hilarious. Love watching them. And what's really great, I think, about the show is obviously it's quite a bit inspired, I'm sure, by your own life. You were on a show or two I think people were fans of, I'm aware of.
Yes, Firefly.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show. So, but I do think, how much did you try to pull from your own life, but also, is it exaggerated stories based on real stories, or is it just...
They're exaggerated stories.
Okay.
Some of them are spot on, though. It just kind of cuts out before the rest of my life went. The character of Ray Nearly that I play is where the main difference is because he doesn't appreciate his life. But there's an example of a fan who's dressed like Darth Vader, and this happened in San Antonio just last year. There was a guy, and he was really super tall, and he came up and he goes, "Could you make it out to Kevin?" And that was kind of funny, and I signed it, but then he couldn't pick up the picture because his gloves were too big.
So that was true.
That was true.
That was a great scene.
But then we talked for a while because I was like, "How are you going to take over the universe? You can't pick up an 8x10."
Yeah.
I know the gloves are too big. I had a different pair, and I was like, and we had a long talk, long-ish.
If only you could use the Force, it might have been actually easier.
Yes.
But and what I do love about the show, at least through the first few episodes, and I assume it continues, lots of great guest stars. Just in the first few, you have Felicia Day, you have Nolan North, who it's nice to see not in a mocap suit.
Exactly.
Love his work. But and you have the great Mindy Sterling.
Mindy Sterling.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she does a great
So
job.
how did it go getting all these people to be on the show? Was it just sort of like calling in friend sort of favors, or was it just people were available?
Some of it is sort of both. Felicia Day has been a friend for a long time, and she's a huge presence in the convention world and has done a lot of shows online. Seth Green is a friend. He came in. Nolan North, I met doing motion capture. I met him doing a Young Justice, actually. First, we were voicing Young Justice. He's one of the funniest guys I'd ever met.
Yeah.
And I said, "Who are you?" and then we motion captured an Uncharted together.
Oh, you did Uncharted.
I did, and then I quit.
Oh, okay. Didn't go too well between you and Nolan there?
No, I love working with Nolan. I love working with everybody. And then they moved it to different creators. Like they took it away from the...
Uncharted 4.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They took it away from the people I liked. And I was like, well, then my contract's null and void. I'm leaving too.
Well, maybe they'll have you back sometime. Naughty Dog, they make a few other games.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So who else can you tease is coming up in future episodes?
Michael Dorn is going to be out next week. He played Worf on The Next Generation. Who else? Oh, Kevin Grievous, who is this massive physical. He's physically very large. But he wrote the series. Oh, what was it? It was vampires, and Michael Sheen is in it, and there's the Lycan, and there's the vampires. Is Underworld. So he wrote all of the Underworlds. He wrote I, Frankenstein. He gave himself a job in the underworld. He's the big black guy who's he's a Lycan. And he's got a voice like this. Anyway, he's in it. He's very funny. Who else is in it? There's so many.
Of course, you've got that guy Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion is in it.
Of course.
Milo Ventimiglia, who was on Heroes,
Yes.
and he just did a thing on Gotham, and more Nolan North. Can't ever get enough Nolan North.
Oh, no, his intro's fantastic on the show. For those who haven't seen it, it's just a wonderful play on his career.
Yeah, he's the second best motion capture artist in the world.
First being you?
No, the first being Andy Serkis.
Oh, yes, of course.
Who he hates. He plays monkeys, and it bothers him that everybody knows Andy Serkis, because whenever you say mocap, people go, oh, like Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
And it just annoys him.
Well, for people who play games, it's Nolan North. He's the Andy Serkis of the game world.
Yes.
I think is what we like to think of him.
Exactly.
But so I did want to touch briefly on the show. Obviously, it was the crowdfunding was a big part of making that show. How was that process? And was it, I'm sure it was exciting to see fans react so well to it.
Yeah, yes. If they didn't, it wouldn't have been near as fun.
Of course.
We raised like $1 million in one 24-hour period. It was very encouraging. The whole process of crowdfunding is interesting. It's another job. You know, there's this whole campaign. It becomes a campaign, and that's why they call them crowdfunding campaigns. And there's all these people who come around and say, "This is how you got to do it," or "You got to do it like this," and don't make that mistake, and don't make that mistake. And we were very confident going in until we talked to all these professionals. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work, because they sowed a lot of seeds of doubt with facts and all this stuff. But
all the numbers.
Yeah, all the numbers. But the fans don't care about numbers, and just like we thought. Just like we knew the fans, because I've gone to conventions for 13 years, and so I felt like it was going to go really well. Then they convinced us it might not go well, and then the first day it was...
And it blew up.
It really did. We raised $3.2 million. We ended up funding a comic book, a book, and a video game that has been...
Oh, wow.
I'm approving a bunch of art in a minute.
And Nolan North will do mocap for the game, I assume?
He won't need to mocap it, but he is in the game. The characters who are in the show are going to be in the game.
Oh, great.
Cool. We're having a lot of fun. We have a lot of stuff has come out of this, and right now I'm doing Star Wars. The next Star Wars, Rogue One.
Little project.
It's a little project.
Yeah. In between con man work, stop by the Star Wars set.
Yes, I just came from there. I've been editing from London, which I don't recommend, editing remotely. But
well, I'm sure you are sworn to secrecy, but how has the process been of getting into that Star Wars universe? I mean, that must be...
It's a lot like Con Man.
It's
pretty
exactly
much the
like
same thing, yeah.
Same small production.
Well, just a bunch of friends coming together, making a thing out of passion and love for fans. It actually is that. There is a lot of fun, because any film job, you have those... long days, it's cold, it's wet, you're in the rain, especially since you're shooting in London. And instead of you can't get too discouraged, because you look around and it's just overload. All the things you knew from childhood are, not all of them, but several things. There's aliens, there's ships and things.
Stormtroopers,
yes,
maybe?
And they use practical, they're using a lot of practical stuff. Yes. So it's not, you don't have to imagine. It's not just big swaths of green that they go, and right there is that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Must be an exciting process to be a part of.
Yeah.
Well, and so...
Yoda does catering.
Oh, really?
He's not in the movie.
No, he's just on the sidelines.
He makes my cappuccinos.
How is he? Is he...
Good he is.
Good? Well, so Con Man is premiering throughout the month on Vimeo, correct?
Yes, on Vimeo under Con Man, and it's on demand. Right now, there are 7 episodes out. Tricia Helfer from Battlestar Galactica in the last one. And Leslie Jordan. If you know who Leslie Jordan is, he's hysterical. And Sean Marr, who was on Firefly. Yes. Again, Nathan Fillion. And then Sean Astin is in the first one from some movie about rings.
He was in The Strain. I believe the fans were quite excited about The Strain on the plane, I believe.
The Strain.
And so with Con Man, you know, obviously you have all these things that grew out of the fundraising campaign, like you were saying. Is there a hope for a season 2 sort of thing? Or was it just the focus on the season? What are you?
We focused mainly on season 1, and then we have so many other things, the game and the book. We'd already started the book before we even crowdfunded. Our other producing partner, PJ Harsma, has written 4 novels, the Softwire series, so it just made sense. And we're approving art. We just talked to Nathan. He's out on the floor, Fillion, and we're like, look, we need you to approve how you look in the comic book. And so he just looked at the art. So we've got all that going, but I'm writing scripts for season 2.
That's exciting to hear.
I guess that was the easy answer I could have just said.
It all still worked out. Well, thank you, Alan, so much. Con Man is available now.
Yes.
And thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.